Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Otago consultancy firm, and we are presenting our case study for how WeChat Pay can improve its service and products to small and medium-sized enterprises. Let me introduce our team. My name is Emily, and I'm joined by Caitlin, Jacob, and Sue Wand. Our team aspires to be the best, and we're driven to make positive improvements that align with our mission of value for users, tech for good. Defining value for users means creating a safe and easy-to-use platform that allows SMEs and users on WeChat Pay to thrive. Tech for good means using the WeChat Pay platform for greater good, particularly environmental protection, staff development, and community welfare. As a consultancy firm, our goal for this case study is to build a path for WeChat Pay to develop a more streamlined process for SMEs and WeChat customers, allowing the company and other stakeholders to grow further. The problems we have identified in the case study inside of the company will now be discussed. We've devised certain techniques in the hopes of reducing these issues and scaling the organization while adhering to the company's ESG efforts. The absence of business support for SMEs, the user interface experience of WeChat Pay, and lastly, the complexity of the present payment system are the main challenges identified. I will now pass it on to Jacob to begin discussing the problems we identified.
The first problem we have identified is the lack of business support to SMEs. SMEs play a significant part in China's economy, accounting for more than 90% of all Chinese businesses. However, data reveals that 20% of SMEs fail in their first year, with only 1/3 surviving for 10 years or more. This is owing to major difficulties such as a lack of funding, a human capital shortfall, and many SME owners lacking the fundamental business skills to manage a successful organization. SMEs can spend a lot of time managing their businesses, and it can take hours at the end of each business day to go over all of the transactions one by one and compile financial reports. It should also be mentioned that the COVID-19 pandemic had a substantial impact on SME survival, demonstrating the critical need for training and assistance to help small enterprises prosper in an uncertain environment. We seek to boost the survival rates of SMEs by providing more business help in order to expand WeChat Pay's income streams.
And the second problem is the user interface and the user experience of WeChat Pay. So we took into account the significant issue that SMEs and customers encounter when engaging with the WeChat app while evaluating the usability of the WeChat payment method. Payment confirmation alerts have been warmly accepted, with 90% of customers using the service. However, due to this feature's lack of capability, only one person can receive these notifications, which can only be received when the user is on the business premises. Furthermore, it is challenging for SMEs to keep up with payments coming in when transactions are executed faster than alerts are received. When blending personal payment confirmation and commercial payment confirmation on the same mobile phone, the WeChat interface lacks clarity on its platform. SMEs frequently require more than one device to keep up with demand, putting a bigger financial strain on them. We want to benefit both WeChat Pay and the small businesses who uses this service.
The third and final problem we come across was the complexity of the current payment system. For some SMEs, the present payment mechanism is very cumbersome and difficult to grasp. Many small businesses lack the necessary skills and understanding to properly execute it. Customers must currently scan a QR code within the establishment and specify the amount of money to be utilized in the transaction. Customers can input a sum that is less than the transaction's value, causing SMEs to be undercharged for their goods and services. Payment options must be simplified, as there are now several options available to make the transaction process more difficult, which can overwhelm some SMEs. One solution we came up with was implementing NFC technology. Moving on to our strategy, we'd like to talk about the use of NFC technology. The current use of QR codes for means of payment can be readily minimized by adopting NFC technology, which allows customers to pay SMEs by simply tapping their phones together. This not only tackles the issue of customers skipping payments, but it also helps to avoid improper payment because SMEs enter the transaction amount into the system and customers only have to touch their phones to the SME business device to complete the transaction. Because of the authentication and encryption mechanisms used throughout the transaction, NFC technology is secure. We'll add a 5 centimeter operational distance to prevent a third phone from interfering with the transaction. The simple nature of Bluetooth and NFC means that a Wi-Fi connection is not needed.
Moving on to our second solution. We may alleviate, if not eliminate, the concerns we outlined before of restructuring the user interface experience and modernizing the present software utilized by both clients and SMEs. We are considering reorganizing how consumers now use WeChat Pay by creating a distinction between a WeChat customer operating app and a WeChat business suite. First, I'll go over the adjustments we want to make to the customer operating app. The current program is difficult to use and user activity could be better controlled. We can improve the user experience by separating the numerous functionalities included into the app, resulting in better transactions and app monetization. Mobile applications are currently the most popular way to consume content, accounting for 57% of all digital media consumption. We'd also like to present the concept of a standalone WeChat business suite that can be accessible through a new app. Because there is a clear distinction between individual users and business users, the process for users will be considerably more efficient. The business suite will have an account login system that will allow many users to access the suite. Businesses can visit their merchant product section, see a clear picture of their financial accounts and transactions, and read user-generated content from larger firms that shows how-to tutorials on how to deal with challenges that SMEs frequently face inside the suite and in normal business operations. In addition to this, we aim to launch a 24-hour helpline service so that there is a greater focus on listening and responding to users and businesses' needs. According to research, every dollar spent on user experience generates a $100 return on investment. This means that investing in improving the user experience through the usage of various apps can benefit all stakeholders significantly. We can build another revenue source for WeChat Pay by focusing on user-generated content, such as how-to videos created by larger enterprises. Larger companies can gain from paying for this advertising space. Small businesses can benefit from better understanding on how to run their firms, and WeChat Pay can use the earnings from these firms as an extra revenue source.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to our third solution, which is enhancing WeCounty. So Tencent places a strong emphasis on prioritizing its customers' demands by listening to and responding to them. Tencent's digital solution for eliminating poverty and revitalizing China's rural communities through internet access, WeCounty, has served over 15,000 villages and 2.5 million people. We intend to expand on this concept by offering people in rural areas additional support in the form of a business launch kit. This starter kit will feature the WeChat Business Suite as well as additional resources to assist them in utilising this starter kit, which will give SMEs access to a variety of educational courses and videos created by larger successful organisations. These educational videos will focus on equipping small and medium-sized businesses with the tools that they need to succeed. WeChat Pay will have to approve these videos to guarantee that they are appropriate. This will necessitate establishing a set of clear guidelines and important areas to concentrate on. As previously stated, larger enterprises would be charged for a space on the app in order to secure profitability for WeChat Pay. It is also worth noting that WeChat Pay aspires to provide value to users while also utilising technology for good. This will entail developing more sustainable methods as well as assisting those that are less fortunate. We've devised a system that allows members of the public who want to support our environmental goals to contribute their phones or tablets that they no longer use but are still in good functioning order. People should donate for a variety of reasons, including the necessity of recycling, prolonging the life of mobile devices, and assisting small businesses to get off the ground. Those interested in donating their old phone should go to the WeChat Pay website and select the phone donation link. There will be information on what phones and tablets are eligible, how to send your devices, as well as why people should donate. Once the individual has verified their phone fits the eligibility requirements, they can fill out an information form and receive an email with prepaid post barcodes. A sub-team inside the organisation will be in charge of ensuring that all devices are in good functioning order before sending them to SMEs who have requested additional support and meet the eligibility requirements.
We now have a timeline of when we want to execute our approach, as shown in the presentation now. We expect to debut the NFC technology in August of this year, as it will take 2 months to set up. Our development team will have 6 months to redesign several features of the existing WeChat app. In a year, the WeChat Business Suite will be available. With these elements in place, WeCounty's advancement will begin in August of next year.
So we'd first like to discuss our short-term goals. Within 2 months, we aim to create a simplified payment method that enables more convenient transactions for both the merchant as well as the consumer, while also maintaining safety and security. Within 6 months from now, we want to update the current WeChat app to be able to have a more streamlined process when consumers are making transactions. This will allow for greater engagement, which in turn allows for greater turnover for both merchants and WeChat Pay. So now we would like to discuss our long-term goals. We plan to introduce the WeChat Business Suite in 1 year. Due to the massive scope of the app and the number of users, we have left ample time for the software engineers to design and test the software. Once our design and product usefulness has been modified, we will focus our attention on our WeCounty initiatives. Our long-term objectives are to grow the number of WeChat Pay users and merchants, resulting in a greater revenue stream. Continuing to think about value for users, tech for good.
And next, we'll come up to our financials. So in our financial forecast, we have divided our profit statement into 2 years to allow for the launch of the Business Suite app. If we account for a base case of what we can expect, we have an upfront cost where it includes transitioning the WeChat Pay into using NFC technology, restructuring the WeChat app, developing the Business Suite app, enhancing WeCounty, and outsourcing our helpline, which sums up to RMB 1 million. The majority of our costs incur from developing the Business Suite app, where we have minimized the cost by insourcing Tencent's software development team to create the app. However, we will face a loss of RMB 284,000 in the first year of our relaunch strategy because we have increased our expected costs and expect a minimum revenue from SMEs who uses the software. We can justify this initial loss due to our increase in market share for the consecutive year. In our second year, however, with the new Business Suite app, large businesses are able to pay for an ad space on our app, which they benefit from advertising to SMEs. Large corporations can allocate a budget and get charged on a cost per view basis. It will cost 40 cents per view up until their budget has maxed out. We are already charging SMEs and other corporations 0.3% to 0.6% transaction value as the service fee, depending on the industry. With our increase of market share, we expected a greater revenue. Touching on how we advertise our relaunch and option for ad space, we are allocating RMB 56,000 to advertising expenditure as the trend following the previous years has an approximate increase of 6,000 to 8,000. We are forecasting a greater cost this year due to the need to allocate advertising resources to the Business Suite platform. This means that in 2023, after implementation of our strategy, Tencent can expect an increase of market share from 39.4% to 50%. This accounts for the 5 million new SMEs in China every year. We can expect a 200% increase to RMB 1.6 million. From this project, we estimate a return of investment of 19% within these 2 years.
Okay, so to conclude, today we have provided WeChat Pay with strategies to implement positive changes in regards to products and services. Following this, we have provided a forecast of our financials. With this business case, we believe that we can achieve success for WeChat Pay users and technology. Thank you for listening, and we now invite you to ask any questions that you might have.
Thank you for the presentation. It is now time for the Q&A session. Please keep the question concise and leave your thoughts and comment for the feedback session. The 15 minutes countdown starts now. Let's hear the first question.
Hi, it's Amy here. Maybe I ask the first question if you don't mind. I noticed that in your implementation plan, so let's say your NFC, your first solution, I mean, it's just take like 2 months to implement. Can you elaborate a bit in terms of like the work involved? And to me, this seems to be quite stretched.
I'll take this one. As far as we're aware, implementing the NFC technology should only cost around $10,000. And we've seen it used in other systems before. A lot of phones are already pre-built with NFC compatibility, which means that it should be accessible to just about everyone with a mobile device in China.
So you're saying like you only need to upgrade your program, and so from your customer perspective, they don't need to do anything.
Yes, it would be more on the software development side, whereas customers, they just have to just follow the instructions on how to use it, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Hello, this is Haram from Korea. So thank you for your presentations. May I ask whether you have ever done a market survey of competitors for this kind of a payment system in China? And what's your competitive point in your development?
Sorry, could you just repeat that question, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Have you ever done a market survey of competitors, this kind of a payment system in China? And what would be your competitive point against this kind of competitors in the market?
So Tencent already occupies 39% of the market.
Mm-hmm.
With our strategy, we with the investment that we're putting in with our strategy, we account that our market share will increase. Being such a large competitor in the market already, we believe that our strategy will work best in our favor, and that we will not have to worry about other competitors adopting our strategies.
And following on from that, it's also clearly technology that our customer base is crying out for. They need something that's easy to use, not difficult to implement. There's definitely a big gap in our business plan. So that's why we need this technology. So there's something that's simple effective and like everyone can access. And following on from that, that kind of ties into our We County initiative. So the reason why we thought this would be such a great idea, because it's really easy to use and implement. That's why we've got this idea where if these people in rural areas don't have the technology, they can apply to We County, and then if they meet the application criteria, we'll provide them with a tablet. So really, if they have the tablet plus this technology, there's nothing hindering their business like opportunity. So hopefully with this technology and with our business plan, it should enable more SMEs to thrive, and that way, hopefully in the long run for us, more revenue sources. So yeah, it's all about this is just an idea just to fill those little gaps, tweak a few things that are missing in the current business plan, and just make everything run a bit smoother. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I got another question if you don't mind. So like you talk about all these like initiative solutions and also like some timeline. So what do you foresee as the risk or project, showstoppers, all this when you implement all these different solutions?
So just to clarify, you're asking us about the risks in our initiatives?
Yes. So like the risk of your solution, and how do you plan to overcome that?
Sure. So what we can identify as major risks is obviously being very technology focused. We can see that adopting the new technology and taking a step very different to what is already available, there is the risk that there will be a bit of delay for the adoption of NFC technology. But because there are other apps and other users in the market already that are familiar with the NFC technology, we hope that this delay will not cause such a great impact. Another risk that we might identify is that with our We County initiative, we are basically relying on people to send us their devices. So we can have the risk that we might have another delay there for the phones or the tablets being sent to WeChat. We can also run the risk that people are not abiding by the instructions and are sending us phones that are faulty, and therefore we might be using our resources on something that we might not have to develop further. But in our terms and conditions, when someone would send us their cell phone, we write and state that if they do send us a phone that is not usable, we will not be returning the phone. So it is at the customer's discretion to send us their phone to begin with.
And following on from that, so you did mention how we're relying on the generosity of the public, but it's like we're in 2022 now, we're all becoming more environmentally conscious, and people are always wanting the latest technology. So the reason why this initiative is so good is because once they've got the new phones, they've still got their old ones that are perfect condition that can still be used, and there's no reason why those phones can't be used to help other people. So it's about being socially aware and environmentally conscious as well. We want to tie in all those 10-cent goals and initiatives in order to create like a better society for everyone. So it's really thinking about the community is what we're passionate about here.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the judges? We have still got 8 minutes left. No?
Sorry that I'm thinking that I could not catch up the solution 3. So using the recycled phones to enhance the EV country. So could you please explain that it's more detail with a more detail for solution 3?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so this is what I'm really passionate about. So as you're aware, Tencent is very passionate about being environmentally conscious, but also being considerate of the community as well. And a large problem is SMEs aren't surviving. As you can see, they're a large part of the market, but they're failing within the first year. I think it was 20% fail within the first year. So our goal is to try and increase the number of SMEs that survive while also being environmentally and socially aware. So what we're going to do, the plan is, once we've established the business suite and all the other bigger initiatives that we've got going, that's when we're going to start focusing on the charity aspect of this business. So once that's all been established, so SMEs will be able to apply for the starter kit, which will include the business suite app, which helps them with managing their business, speeding up the process when they're doing transactions, just little pre-made things that can make their lives a bit easier, because the current app seems a little bit complex and there's a lot of aspects to it. So we just really want to streamline it a bit and have also on top of this educational videos. So not only do they have an app that's easy to use, helps improve their business, but they're also learning those key business skills, because as shown in the case, a lot of those people are lacking those necessary business skills. So our goal with this initiative is to provide them with their education and help them also collaborate with bigger companies. So it is the larger companies that are providing those videos. Not only will they be able to improve their knowledge and learning, they'll also form connections that they can utilize in the future. So yeah, please let me know if you've got any other questions to do with that.
Thank you.
So to show the app, show the video on WeChat and help the so-called small company.
So
awesome. That's oh, sorry. No, you take that one.
So I would like to touch on this. So we have created a space on the business suite where these larger from adding their how-to videos or tutorials, because it's basically a modern way of advertising. So how this will work is that businesses will, within the business suite, so the larger enterprises, are able to go to WeChat Pay and send in their video to us, where we verify this, and then it can be uploaded into a forum on the business suite app. Through this, we will be charging on a cost per view basis. So these large enterprises can submit a budget, let's say, for example, $2,000. With the cost per view, each view will cost 40 cents to the business.
Hang on, I think let me just make sure you the question is understood. So I was referring to, let's say the large enterprise. Let's say they're selling toothpaste, and so they why they would want to advertise in I think what you're saying is WeChat's business suite, right? So you're saying the large enterprise would want to advertise in WeChat business suites, which I think the audience of WeChat business suites should be the business, right? So why the large enterprise would like to advertise to the target audience of those SMB. So what do you want to do? I don't think they want to sell toothpaste to them, for example, right? So am I getting it right? From your concept perspective.
Do you like me to take this one, or do you want to continue?
No, you can continue. That's fine.
Okay, so as Emily stated, so SMEs make up a large part of the market, and this is a way to connect those big successful firms with a huge part of the market, because currently there's a gap. They're not quite like utilizing each other in the best way they could. So this is connecting a large portion of the market with the education and tools from the larger successful firms. And in return, those larger successful firms get those connections. They might want to, get those SMEs on board with their company, and they could collaborate on things and come up with new ideas. The main thing that this relies on is the extent of the market that the SMEs make up. If they weren't such a large part of the market, it wouldn't probably be a good business idea, because what's the point of just, connecting with a small part of the market that's only like small businesses? But due to the large scale of SMEs, this should work really well.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the judges? So I guess no more questions from the judges. So thank you all. The judges will now stay in the room to deliberate, and team, you will be placed in the waiting room, and we'll bring you back in for the feedback session in a few minutes' time. So everyone else, please kindly leave the room, and we'll see you later for the result announcement. Thank you.